Hey everybody, it's Carl's here at Immortals Inc. podcast, and as always, I got Mike over here on the mic for no reason.
No reason.
Doing nothing.
I do nothing.
Nothing at all. So today, we're going to give a little chat about, your favorite, World War II.
Super favorite of mine.
Well, it's not actually. It's alternate war. You ever wonder what would happen if, say, hell, we'll just get into it. Konflikt 47. So here, we just started getting into some, here at Immortals Inc., we just started getting into some historical games. Like, we've always had historical games. We never really went crazy with them, had a whole bunch of them, but now we're starting to get a setting, or customers that are coming in doing it. They're playing a lot of bolt action, which is, it's been described as accurate historical. You see when those guys come in, they have the terrain and all that good stuff.
If you watched
some pictures.
If you watched our Origins vlog, a big part of that intro was we were at the Warlord Games booth that they had.
Yeah.
We kind of showed how they rock.
Warlord Games.
Watch that video; it's right up there.
So then, these guys that come in and do the historical war game, they're very accurate. Hey, I have to have this specific thing because this is the shirt they wore. This is the
I have to have trench foot.
Yeah, they have to have markings that are proper. Yeah, they're very just historically accurate, and they use a game that's really good. And it's been described as kind of a, I don't want to say this because then I get yelled at, but they told me it was kind of 40K-ish in the rules, but an older edition.
Okay.
So it's very similar, so you can play it, and they play it really good and anything. So anyway, I was talking to the Warlord Games guy, and a new game they released, they're like, hey, you're going to want this. I'm like, I don't know if they want this. And then the guys did want this. They're like, oh, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. It's called Konflikt 47 with a K, and alternate history. So basically the alternate history for this is instead of dropping a bomb on Japan, I guess Germany got all out of control. So America, somewhere along the way, has decided they were testing the alternate history. They were testing the nuclear device. Well, they ended up opening a rift into like some other dimension or what. They don't really describe it. And I guess the rift was there, and it had these other properties and everything else, and it was very devastating. And if you read the history, it's kind of cool. Like Eisenhower was president, who was in a wheelchair. I guess he walked into the rift and came out all buff and super. And he said, "Nope, we're here, and we're gonna make everything right." So they dropped one of these bombs on Germany. It just caused this great rift in the middle of nowhere, which in the end, it leaked a bunch of creatures. Or either like, it doesn't really say, I don't say it, but it brings a lot of like nightmare stuff to work.
It's like a different form of radiation that kind of.
Nope, it's just a different dimension, a different reality.
Okay.
So it caused all these things where they can it changed. You got to read the history, but it changed science and the way things are looked at, or like the properties of stuff. So now they have they shoot bullets that are faster than, they go faster just because of this stuff and the energy and just a different energy source. Well, of course, it got corrupted in Germany. When they dropped it on there, it got corrupted. So now they have like power armor and walkers and like jetpacks and stuff like that. And they just kind of made it for the World War II era in this miniature game. Now, the miniature game itself, I guess, uses the core bolt action rules. And they just add a few like sci-fi elements to it, which I guess works out pretty good. But I guess in Germany, when they dropped the bomb, it got corrupted, and they kind of built it up, and they figured out how to use this for weapons and stuff. But as a side effect, they ended up with like the undead. Like
no big deal.
They ended up with like zombie characters and the undead, and they also I think there's some kind of like quasi werewolf vampire kind of deal with the Germans.
No big deal.
It's not the Germans.
Nazi werewolves.
It's the Nazis. So, and I was laughing because I was worried about this. I'm like, you don't want to say the Nazi word too many times because, you get banned, even though it's talking about historical games. So I was walking in this, it showed up my feed Becky Weiss or something, I think her name is. She goes, we're just going to say Yahtzees.
Yahtzees.
So the Yahtzees, but Made me laugh. But anyway, no, we're not going to do that because it's just dumb. But
YouTube, be nice.
Be nice. So we're talking about the Germans, the Nazis. They come up with all this crazy stuff, and so but they're also historically accurate. So they kind of they don't just make up a word and say, okay, whatever. So these guys who wrote the game, they come up and it sounds like, okay, this could happen. This is where it would probably evolve to. So you have those guys who you have the Germans, the Nazis who went and they have like walkers and power suits of armor, and they use some undead and like I want to say they're either vampires or they're werewolves. Is what you have some morphing going on.
Is Hitler still a thing?
No, actually he's not. He still died.
Okay,
or killed himself or whatever. I think if I remember correctly. Because another group took over. There's a whole how they were like really fascinated with the occult and everything like that. Well, when this happened, that group took over and kind of kicked everybody else out. So then you have the Russians who got mad because the U.S. did this. They were quasi allies at the time, of real history, but not really allies, but worked to the same end. Well, now they're all mad. They just said, "Screw you guys." Well, they had their own thing. They developed their own technology. So they came out with their thing is like all of a sudden you got these giant like bears, like werewolves and bears, the men and undead, and they're super powered weapons. U.S. doesn't have like any mutants or anything like that, but they have all the power weapons, and they're like all like, we effed up. We're gonna go fix it, typical an American attitude, like get out of the way, we're gonna fix this, even though we're the one who created this.
Yeah, because they don't have any of the like you said, mutants or any crazy creatures. No, they just have the humans.
They're very like on a crusade kind of deal.
Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna go fix this mistake.
Yeah, it's
their fault.
Ordained by God is what they say in here.
Oh,
yeah. So you got the zealot kind of deal with it, but it's U.S. soldiers and stuff like that, and it's pretty good. They have like the jetpacks and the walkers instead of tanks. They have the 6-leg things, and it's very cool sci-fi. And then
it's like a Wolfenstein type thing.
Yes, maybe yes. Or you ever see Overlord, the movie Overlord?
No, I just played that last Wolfenstein game, and it kind of reminded me.
Gave me that vibe. Gave me the Overlord vibe. Anything like alternate history, And then the Japanese, those crazy guys, they were able to. They kind of phase shift, like they move through dimensions and stuff like that. It's kind of super goofy, scary what they can do, but it's pretty good. But they plan on releasing a lot more, as you go. And inside the rule book is a lot of artwork and stuff like that gives you the background, the history, and the miniatures are of course all good. They're all like historically based. They're like the smaller version. They're not like the giant 40K. They're more smaller. They're smaller and it's well done, and I've gotten good reviews. A couple of the guys that play here, they go, "Oh yeah, it plays great. It's good. It's got a nice feel to it, and it plays just like bolt action."
So what do you do? Buy the book and then buy the miniatures?
There's a core set. where you get 2 armies, and then you get like a little digest version of this core. But this is the card rule book, so you can buy the core rule book and go buy an army.
Nice.
We have like right now we just have the U.S. and German. Yeah, I think it's the U.S. and German guys.
The Yazis.
Yes, those guys. So then you can go from there. But if you look it out here, I'll send you some links and you can add some pictures of their stuff in there. But yeah, it's really well done. It's well thought out. It's using the bolt action rules. So if you're into historical miniatures, you want a little different. There's even a guy, I guess there was one guy who's real hardcore historical games. He doesn't want anything like fantasy or nothing in his stuff. They said that even he liked it.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So we'll see, but I plan on they plan on playing that up here. They had some demo kits and stuff, and they were adding it up. But I think give those guys a couple of weeks to paint up some stuff, and I'm sure they'll come up with some crazy scenery on top of it. But I hope to see that being played up here pretty soon. So if you're in historical or alternate history, or you just want a little sci-fi in your history because real history is scary, try this Konflikt 47 for a miniature game. Or if you're tired of the miniature game you're playing now and you don't want to go historical because, some people are like, I don't want to do that, give this Konflikt 47 a look, or at least give it a try or a look. Or if we start running, we're going to probably run some demos soon, but we'll advertise them. But yeah, come on up, take a look. It's pretty cool.
Cool. You guys can subscribe. You can actually join on your phone now. I remember you guys, we weren't able to join on phones for some reason. YouTube just made it a thing where you could actually join on the phone. So you should be able to see that right on the, if you go to our channel, there'll be a join option right there on the app, and we appreciate any support. It goes right back into the studio. You get videos before everybody else. You get Carlos's blooper reels that are like 5 minutes long.
Well, I got to work on those.
But thank you guys for watching.
All right. Thanks. Bye.